Good morning, Freedom Marchers. Buenos dias. Shad Killings was good. Buenos dias. All that good shit. Oh, man. How's everybody doing this morning? It's Snapzilla Gorilla here, aka the definition of anarchy, aka Tyrus Bane, all that good shit. Tried to get live going yesterday. Actually, let me make sure you guys can you guys hear me right now? Can you hear me? Do you Romeo Lima Charlie? Read me loud and clear before I continue. Hold on, guys. David, what's up?
Received your $1,400.
1-inch tees? Ooh. You can look over there. I don't think I have any 1-inch tees. I think we use them for those battery chargers. All right.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Some work stuff going on. Anyway, can y'all hear me? So, I know you guys couldn't hear the live yesterday, and then my wife FaceTimed me and pretty much, disrupted the live anyway. But anyway, I've been last week your boy tested positive for the coof. Because I wasn't feeling too good on Tuesday, and so the job wanted me to take a test, so I took a home test. So I didn't have to go into my brain fucking cavity and get a sample. Anyway, supposedly I tested positive for the coof, but I will tell y'all something was fucking going on, because I wasn't feeling good. Had a fever, body aches, headache, all that type of shit, brain fog. I was super tired, body aches, all that type of shit. Basically flu symptoms. I was experiencing flu symptoms during summer, and that never happens, right? I've never had that happen. Was it the coof? I don't know what the fuck it was. All I know was I get back from my trip to Kentucky, and my work trip to Kentucky, and I was on an airplane, all that type of shit, and then this happened. And I haven't been on an airplane before that in like 5 or 6 years, so that was very interesting that I get on a plane and boom, this shit happens. And the people that I was on the trip with, none of those people caught the coof. So I think it's very interesting that it happened to me. And I'm feeling a lot better now, but I was kind of out of it for a few days, man. Out of it for a few days. And you know what? I was eating normally. I was eating like normal, right? Eating like normal. Didn't really think that I was in a calorie deficit, but I lost 10 pounds in like 4 days, even though I was eating. And the only thing I can say about that is that, my body was fighting something and it needed the energy to fight whatever was going on. And that's probably why I lost those 10 pounds. But thankfully I was eating some food. I was eating a good amount of food. And I probably would have lost about 15 pounds if I didn't. Who knows, man? But I thought that was very interesting. Before the coof happened, I I weighed about 203 pounds. Now after that whole shit happened, I got down to like 192, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm a lot better now. Shot Killings asked how I like South Carolina. I like it. No complaints. Oh, I agree. The reset has definitely happened. Ning. Yeah, it wasn't fun, man. It wasn't fun. All I can say is that some shit happened. Something within my body caused me to go through this shit, and it could have been just my body was trying to rid itself of some type of contamination, some type of, God knows what it was trying to get rid of. They say it's the coof because it tests positive, but it could be a number of things. I believe that someone with a common cold could probably test positive for the coof. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it could have just been, my body getting rid of toxins. Maybe I had a level of toxicity in my body that had to be expelled. Who knows, man? Who knows? Germ theory is still but a theory. So, all I can do is say that I feel better now. Even though I'm having some lingering issues, I feel better now. And that's all I'm gonna say about all that. I'm not giving any credence to this whole coof situation. I'm just saying I tested positive for the coof, and at the same time I was experiencing some shit, experiencing things that they say the coof does. So we'll see what happens, huh? Anyway, when it comes to the Great Reset, we know that these people have plans for us, right? We know these people, they want certain things to go a certain way, and they're setting things up for it to happen like that. They're doing, they're trying to shut down the economy. They're cutting off the supply chains. They're perpetuating wars, all that type of shit. And, they have this great plan. And a lot of things are happening to have that plan come to fruition. There was a poultry farm in California that was just set on fire, that was just on fire over the weekend, and it just so happened to be that no one was there. Everybody was off work when this shit happened. So you got the poultry farms, you got the poultry factories catching fires, fires all over these food processing plants. You got all the flooding in Kentucky. You got all this shit happening in a certain course of time, in a certain way that makes one think that there may be something afoot here. Also, you have what's going on in Mississippi, right? In Jackson, Mississippi, which is not that far from where I am. And in Jackson, Mississippi, there was this storm. And as the storm is happening, you have these pumps, these water pumps at these water treatment facilities that fail and causes hundreds of thousands of residents in Jackson, Mississippi to not have clean running water, right? They have to boil the water. There's barely any water pressure in their houses. And you have all these people that are now reliant on the government, the National Guard, to get them water. And this just goes to show you how relying on the government to provide you with anything is a huge mistake, right? Even if you do exist in this country and in your state, and you do have to, in some form or fashion, rely on the government for some shit, because I do, right? Because I live in a house in a municipality that provides running water, electricity. I don't have any means of using on a getting an alternative way to have this shit provided to me, right? I don't have a well, I don't have solar panels, I don't have a way to generate my own electricity. So at this point in time, that's just what it is, right? But what I can do is save up, bottled water, store emergency food supplies, store tools, freedom tools and freedom seeds, all that type of shit. All I can do right now is ensure that if something goes down, the grid goes down, the water supply gets cut off, I have a way to ensure that my family is fed, that my family has water to drink. Because without those things, those are crucial things for human life. Without that, you got nothing, right? And I have the tools and the ammunition to defend what I have. Because and that's as good as it's going to get right now. And so I would hope that more people would take a look at what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi, and say, you know what, this shit could happen where I'm at, because we know the infrastructure is crumbling, right? We know that Trump was talking about putting money into fixing the infrastructure. That never happened, right? Because, you got to go through certain channels, the Congress and all that shit, and it has to get approved and all that shit. That never happened. So we know the grid is very fragile, right? Look at what happened in Texas last year, right? They had that huge freeze. All this renewable energy got shut down because the wind turbines got frozen, and so 70% of the grid was reliant on that wind farm, and that shit got shut down. So that goes to show you that no matter what they do, they can't possibly provide you the security that you look to them to provide, that they extract money from you to provide, right? They tax you, right? They give you all these rules and laws and regulations of what you can and can't do. You know what I'm saying? And I know in some parts in Florida and some other states, you can't live off the grid. You got to be connected to their electrical grid. And also, here's another thing. Even if you have solar power, right? If you have solar power, some municipalities want the installer of that electrical grid, of that solar panel array, to go through their meter. So if it's going through their meter, why is it going through their meter, right? They give you the impression that, well, we want to be able to monitor and determine how much electricity you're putting back onto the grid, when really, in reality, it gives them the capability of cutting your shit off, right? They'll cut your shit off. So if the solar panel power is going through one of their meters that they have control of remotely, that before it goes to your house, it goes through their meter, they can cut that shit off. Now, can a savvy electrician bypass that? You know what I'm saying? In that event, of course, right? You can open up that fucking meter, cut shit, and resplice it and bypass it. Of course you can. But most people don't know that, right? They don't know that. They don't have that knowledge and capability. That's why it's important to have skills, right? It's important to have skills, hands-on skills, right? Because, yeah, you may be a good coder, you may be a good orator, you may be able to talk well and all that other type of shit. You may be a good salesperson, right? You may be able to convince people to do shit for you. But when push comes to shove, when shit breaks down and everything becomes analog, right? The digital, when we go through that digital dark age and we go back to analog, you're going to have the skill to survive. And they have set us up perfectly to numb our capability, right? They've numbed our capabilities to use our hands to get shit done. Everybody had a skill back in the day, like before pre-industrial age, pre-industrial revolution. Everybody had to have some skill where they didn't have the reliable electricity back in the day, right? They didn't have reliable refrigeration back in the day. You know, they didn't have that. They didn't have reliable ways to store water. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they had to hunt, they had to gather, they had to go out and get the water. Even women, they had to have some skill to do something, right? If the men went out to hunt and all that other shit, they would have to be able to live in not in hostile conditions and raise their children, feed their children, right? Take care of their man when they came home, or whatever the case may be. Even when they were building houses and all that type of shit, they didn't have running plumbing and all that shit where toilets would flush and all that type of shit. They had to go to outhouse. You had to have the ability to get around, to do shit, to fix things. People don't have that now, and they understand that. So now they got you to the point where, oh, people are so reliant on technology, right? They're so reliant on technology, they're not even willing to learn how to change a fucking tire. They're not even willing to learn how to change oil. They don't have the desire to learn how to fix something if it breaks down. You know what I'm saying? They know that, you know, and it's crazy. When people talk about high value men, you know, in the manosphere and all that type of shit, and then all these, y'all know the Andrew Tates and all these people, they talk about high value men and, you know, how they're wealthy and all this type of shit. But what good is a high value man that they call a high value man that, yeah, you have a lot of wealth, right? You have used your intellect and savvy to get you millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. But if all that shit disappeared, how valuable would you be? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? And even people like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, he's a kickboxer, right? A kickboxing champion. He had over 80 fights professionally and only lost about 9 fights. But yeah, he can fight, right? And he can probably shoot a weapon. So if something goes down, right? If Romania fucking loses all his power and all that type of shit, is he going to rely on how he got his millions? How did he get his millions? He didn't get his millions fighting, right? He didn't get his millions of dollars fighting people. He got his millions of dollars with women on webcams, right? Women selling their bodies on webcams and all that type of shit. Low-key pimping type shit. So if Romania's grid went down and his supply chain got cut off, all his millions of dollars is not going to do anything for him, right? And putting women in front of webcams is not going to help him survive. What's going to help him survive? His ability to fight and his ability to use weapons, right? You know what I'm saying? He might be able to provide, you have to be able to provide some type of value to the people that you want something from. If some shit go down, let's say somebody has access to water on their land, right? And you want to have access to that without having to rob them, without having to steal it from them and violate them to get access to that water. You're going to have to provide something valuable to that person, right? Maybe the water pump went down. Can you fix a water pump? Maybe he doesn't know how to fix a water pump. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to provide some type of value to that person. And that's what it's about. They know that most people don't have that type of value, right? They got value on paper as they exist in the world right now. They have some value. Okay, yeah, I can create a computer code to do this, that, and the third. Or, I can do this. I can, sell a house. I can sell anything and make money. You know what I'm saying? But that's not a real resource, right? You have to be able to obtain resources. And that's why all these wealthy people, that's why they're liquidating, right? They're liquidating all their little, investments and all this type of shit. And they're buying resources. They're buying land. They're building bunkers. They're storing emergency food supplies. They're buying up farmland because they understand, like, look, all this, the way that I obtain my wealth is not going to help me survive if shit goes down. So I need to obtain real resources, real tangible resources, so that I can be okay if shit happens. And these people, they don't even necessarily have to have any skill. But guess what they have? Ownership of that land. And they can hire people to maintain that land, so when shit goes down, those people, they can have access to his land, and he don't really have to do shit, right? Because he owns that land. He you know what I'm saying? If you're a land owner, you have something going for you, right? You can be a landowner and not have any capabilities to maintain that land. Maybe you own the land and you don't know how to farm, you don't know how to build, you don't know how to do any of that shit. So you're gonna need to have people in your circle, in your camp, that have those capabilities, and what you have to offer is access to that land. And hopefully they don't fucking screw you over. And that's where security comes in. Can you provide a level of security? That's another valuable skill. Security that can actually help prevent people from taking it. So you just got to be able to provide some type of value, man. I know that's a long-winded explanation, but it's the truth. So what I see, hundreds of thousands of people in Jackson, Mississippi should not be destitute because a water pump went out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it again. Hundreds of thousands of people should not be destitute because they lost water pressure and the water treatment facility went down, right? Because if there's one thing that's true, it's that Mississippi has water everywhere. Yeah, there's groundwater all over Mississippi. You should not have to rely on going into government lines and getting cases of water. And you might get lucky to get more than one case. You might just get one case at a time. You see, now that you put your fate in their hands, they can determine how much water, they can choose however much water they can give you. They can give you one case, they can give you half a case. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you know how to treat water yourself, or if you have a water catchment situation going on, and you know how you can purify your own water, or you have the equipment to do so, then you ain't got to go. You won't have to go through those lines. You ain't got to worry about, is the government going to give me enough water today? No. You can go ahead and go in your own backyard, or you can go into your many cases of water that you already have. You know what I'm saying? And you can take care of your own self with that water. Or you can have a water purification system, a filtration system, like a gravity. They have a gravity filtration system that works really well, that removes microbes, all type of shit. It removes fluoride. Like I have an Alexa Pure. I actually want to get a couple more. You know what I'm saying? I have an Alexa Pure where it filters out all that shit. And you can up to like 10,000 gallons or some shit like that. So if you have water in your area and you have a filtration system like that, a gravity filtration system where you don't need electricity to purify it, you really shouldn't have to be concerned, right? And if you need to take a shower, they have these solar outdoor shower things where you can hang it on a tree. You fill it up with water. It's a little bladder. You know what I'm saying? And you go outside. You have your little privacy little shower thing that you can take with you when you go camping. and you can clean yourself. It's simple. These are simple things. These aren't very expensive things to have, right? You can go to a military surplus store and get that fucking shower. That they call it a solar shower. You know, you hang it up, the sun heats up the water, boom, you take a shower. It's not very comfortable. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but hell, it's better than stinking your ass off for 5 or 6 days waiting on the government to get you a shower. Can you imagine that? Oh man, I can't take a shower today, man, because the government didn't give me enough water. Man, fuck out of here. Go get you some water, go down to the river or the lake, go to your pond. You know what I'm saying? Filter it out. Don't use your gravity filter to take a shower. That's for drinking water. Find another way to filter that water enough to take a shower with it. Boil it. Do whatever you got to do. You shouldn't have to rely on the government. You don't need the government to take a shower. You don't need the government to wash your ass. You don't need the government to drink water. You don't need the government to eat. You know what I'm saying? And this is one reason why I left LA. That's one reason I left LA. There's plenty of groundwater all over the country, right? You know, primary water that they want you to think happens when it rains. No, there's water already in the ground, right? Does the water table drop sometime? Yeah, sure. But there's always ways to find water. But it just be a pain in the ass in California, the way they have everything dammed off and all this other shit. Not a lot of groundwater in LA that's easily accessible. But in South Carolina, states like this, where I live, there's water every fucking where. So if some shit happens, I'll go through my fucking maybe I would try to use the water in the area before I go through my bottled water. But that's just a choice that you have to make. Anyway, yeah, the Great Reset is happening right now. It's been happening. It's been happening before they even called it a Great Reset. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a reality of the world we're living in right now. You know, so the Great Reset is real, baby. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Gotta go check on my guys, and yeah, y'all stay up, man. I'll read a couple comments before I get out of here. Alien believers in the building. Shotgun said, on my mom's side, the family, we have this land in Alabama, and I'm going to have a house built on it. That's what's up. I'm trying to find out how to create hydroelectricity to run the house. You just need enough running water to spin turbines. Generating electricity through alternating current, actually. You know, you need a rotor and a stator, right? So you need something stationary and something to rotate around it. So as long as you have something, it's like copper in the middle, right? So basically you need copper in the center, and you need iron, basically, or something to create an electromagnetic field as it spins. So the spinning of it creates this electromagnetic field, and you have a conductor connected to it that shoots out the electricity, right? So you need that's really what you need. You need something that has enough power to turn this turbine to create this electricity. Basically, a generator, right? That's how AC generator works. You know, something like the fuel that you put in the generator starts the engine, and that mechanical work spins, right? Spins creates that electromagnetic field, and boom, the electricity goes. That's how it works. So, you know, water is a good way. Hydroelectric is good. They use waterfalls. They use a lot of water, rushing water, because like I said, it has to have enough energy to turn these turbines. So you just need to find a way to have that water that you want to use create enough force to spin those turbines enough to generate that electricity. So that's one way to do it. That's definitely one way to do it. And the wind, that's why they use wind. You know, the wind turbines, you know, the wind pushes the fucking fan and it generates electricity. Or one way to do it is solar. Solar, you don't really need there's no turbine in solar. It's just that the cells absorb the heat from the sun, and that heat gets pushed out basically and generates electricity. So, yep. You say Slick Twisted was good? Yeah, California does have a lot of drought. In the South, we have lots of water. There's water everywhere. There's no reason in places like this that you know, if the water treatment facility went down, okay, it's going to be a little inconvenient. You're going to have to go out and get your water. You're going to have to bring it back to the house. You're going to have to go through a process to filter it, purify it, and then you can use it. It's just going to be a little more inconvenient. You know, it's going to be a pain in the ass, but you don't have to be destitute and dying of thirst. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And let's keep marching towards freedom, people. Oh, I want to go back to 2020. I want to go back to 2019. Honestly, I want to go back to 1980s. I wish I was a grown man in 1980s. That's what I wish I was this age now in the 80s. You feel me? And I wish the technology that we have in the 80s and the 90s, that's where it needs to stop, right? We don't need no technological advance past what we have in the 1990s. Real shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking early 1990s. But anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe. Peace out. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.